that
The
there's...
personification of evil, devoid of compassion, built on self-centeredness. These are all phrases that could be used to describe 79-year-old Andrew Watson.
What the fuck? This motherfucker murdered at the age of 79? Oh my god, it's bruv. It's literally Constable. Wait, no, it's not. Is that Canada? Dude, how the fuck do you... How do you become a murderer? Elderly murderer, dude. That's wild. Okay, we'll do a little bit of murder. We'll have a little bit of murder as a treat, okay? I'll fucking tweet it out too. We're doing a little murder stuff today. Little true crime. Trigger warning. www.twitch.tv/Hasanabi.
Although he may look to many as an innocent elderly man, he has in fact committed the most evil of crimes, including the gruesome murder of grandmother of two, Lise Fredette.
What
Lise
the
Fredette was last seen November 12, 2014 after leaving her shift at Walmart. As time progressed without communication, her loving family became increasingly concerned and eventually contacted authorities to report her missing.
What the fuck?
After some inquiries, the police department of Peterborough, Canada, arrested Andrew Watson and performed a search of his house, car, and belongings. This search would reveal vital pieces of evidence consisting of Lise Fredette's blood on a shovel in Andrew's garden, on the bumper of his car, and on his driveway. Andrew was later questioned, and this is the video and the analysis of the interrogation.
I want to share a couple of things with you to show you that I'm here to give you some info. Okay? This isn't all about, me wanting info from you. You asked me a couple of things earlier, and I want to address them for you. Okay?
Before this excerpt of the interrogation, the detective engages in what could be described as an informal chat with Andrew, and he refrains from confronting the suspect. Instead, the detective decides to relax Andrew and even offer him some food. He goes through this process in an attempt to establish a rapport and gain Andrew's trust. He hopes the result of this rapport will get Andrew talking and answering questions that his legal advice would have previously recommended him not to answer.
You asked me first of all, how do we know she's even missing and when she went missing? That's what you asked me, right? Is that what you asked me earlier? Does that make sense?
No, I just said I didn't know. At the time, I didn't know she was missing.
No, but I mean, I'm telling you now, from a police perspective, as we move forward, we know she's missing. I've told you why, in that there's been no activity on her bank account. Nobody has heard from her. She hasn't phoned anybody. She hasn't reached out to contact anybody. Her car has not moved. It was like in her driveway. She was there. Family hasn't heard from her. She hasn't made withdrawals on her bank. She hasn't shown up for work.
Mm-hmm.
That's like somebody just dropped off the face of the earth. And we all know people don't do that.
Yeah.
We are creatures of habit. We have our routines, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you say to me, how do we know some of these things and how can I draw the conclusion that I believe, something bad has happened to her, I want you to look at that picture, okay? Now, first of all, I'll start with this one. Where is that?
That's her driveway.
Exactly. Okay. And whose car is that?
That's her car.
Right.
Okay, this is insane. Like, automatically, when I hear someone talk kind of like this in this old person voice, like it's a cartoonish old person voice, I'm like, there's no shot that they've done a murder. Like, how the fuck are they... Like, how are they having a hard time? How are they dry heaving while they're talking, but also capable of doing a murder? That fucking blows my mind. It wasn't me! That's ageist. I mean, dude, do you expect motherfuckers to be murderers at the age of like 80, dude? 90? You think dudes are just out here doing fucking, they just go for 90 years and then they decide to do murders at the age of fucking 80? Like, why? What the fuck? You went for as long as you could? Ageism? Yeah, I should have trigger warning it for ageism. I'm about to be ageist as fuck.
It's a new one, pretty new.
Yeah, it looks fairly new, right? But here's the thing. So
You
when
know
I
she paid about 43,000 for that?
43,000 for that car.
Yeah. It's got all the bells and whistles.
Is that the one you drove to Quebec?
Oh, no.
No.
Most 80-year-old murderers are just politicians. Okay, that's it. If you're gonna be a murderer at the age of 80, like, you probably put in a lot of time in Congress. And you're just like, I mean, not directly murdering people, but just like indirectly murdering people with your actions. Like, it's like Henry Kissinger shit, you know what I mean?
No.
That's
But
a nice car.
she had an old Camry, but
Yeah.
it was in really good shape.
That's a nice car.
But she had an accident with the Camry and it was a write-off.
Oh, okay.
So she got this one.
Well, that is a nice car, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things I want you to notice there, and I'm just telling you things that I know from my observations now as we're investigating this, right? See that right there?
Yeah.
That's blood.
Uh-huh.
Okay. We'll start there. Okay. But this is her house. This is her entrance, right? It looks familiar to you, right? Because you've been there before.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is the back of her car.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
see this little piece
Yeah,
here?
Yeah.
That would be along here, or down
No,
the side.
down here.
Right. See that?
Yeah.
What's
yeah,
that?
That's good.
That's blood. Okay.
I'm
And-
assuming.
I
Yeah.
guess from their POV, it's like they got a couple years left in the tank anyway. You know what I mean? They're just like, there's not a lot left out there for them, so they're just like, might as well. Fuck it. I guess. I don't know.
So am I, right?
Yeah.
But from my standpoint, between that at the front of the car and this at the back of the car, that's what I would refer to as a significant amount of blood.
Foul play.
Yeah, foul play.
Indicated foul play.
Absolutely right. Because that's not a cut finger.
No.
That's not a stub toe.
No.
That's significant, okay? There's a lot of things I can read into when I look at that, okay? So when I see those things. Then you look at that picture. So you obviously know that that picture is along here now, right?
Which one?
See this picture here? Right?
This,
Where is that in relation to
this
this?
picture here is there.
Exactly, okay? See her keys? See an earring.
I'll take your word for it.
Yep.
You know.
Okay.
They
And
took my glasses away from me.
okay, well, right here is her car key, her house key, and right here is an earring.
Yeah.
Okay, and there's a sign of a struggle. You can see how everything's kind of tossed up, and there's the edging of the blood right there, right?
Yeah.
Now,
Okay, open and shut
that's
case.
not normal. We know she didn't go in the house. We know her things are lying there, okay? There's another picture which is along the edge here.
Yeah.
That's her glasses, laying on the ground. It indicates a sign of a struggle.
Oh yeah.
Tells us that there was a struggle there,
Yeah.
okay? And we've got the blood
Did you see that her glasses are here?
right there.
That's her glasses.
That's her glasses right there. Okay. So that indicates to me a sign of a struggle.
Yeah.
Plus we've got the bleeding at the front of the car, we've got the bleeding at the back of the car.
Yeah.
I cannot vibe check this dude. No shot. Just like, he's just like, he's way too senile, dude. I can't tell if he's just like fucking around, like what he's doing, you know what I mean? Like,
And it's right at the entrance where she would be getting into her door.
Yeah.
How do I know that this day is the day she went missing? The 12th of November, which is a Wednesday, she was working.
this is what is known as the
And she was working
senile
alone.
technique.
Yeah.
So we've already verified that she worked her shift that day,
Mm-hmm.
and we verified what time she ended her shift and went home. So we know that she was alive all day. People spoke to her, people saw her, people interacted with her, and people watched her leave work. Okay? So we know she left.
Old equals
and
innocent? I
we
mean,
presume,
literally, yes.
because her car's in the driveway, she eventually went home.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how we know this day, because on the next day, the 13th, she didn't show up for work. Number one, which is unusual for her, right? She didn't go to work on the 13th. So that caused people some concerns. Family members didn't hear from her. Nobody could locate her. And this is what people found when they went to her house.
Mm-hmm.
So when you put, she goes to work, she leaves work, she heads home. People see this, police arrive and see this. We have evidence of blood. She doesn't go to work the next day. And from this day forward, she's never...
What fucking work? I missed that part. What fucking work was she doing, bro? She's 80. God damn, that's so sad, dude. That's fucking sad, dude. Imagine being fucking 80 years old and still having to work at Walmart. That's almost as sad as being murdered at that age. Maybe she likes working?
Never been seen or heard from again. So we can conclusively say that sometime during the evening hours of the 12th or into the early morning hours of the 13th,
Yeah.
something happened to her. And that's
It
what
could
she
be.
witnessed.
Some old people want to
So
keep their
that's
minds
how we know.
occupied, so they do get jobs and
For that
stuff.
part of it. Make sense? You understand, like, investigatively wise, how we're looking at it, right? So some of the things we're looking at is this. I know that there was a struggle here. I know that. Okay? The blood tells me that. The glasses, the keys, and the earring tell me there's a struggle there.
You have just listened to the detective set out the scene of the attack, identify that there was certainly a struggle, and begin to reveal the evidence they have against Andrew. The detective reveals said evidence in a very structured way. He will exaggerate the reliability and the amount of evidence to an extreme level. He will also overvalue his evidence. For example, the quality of the CCTV images and the number of cameras present at the scene of the crime. This is a wise tactic, as Andrew will become panicked and anxious. He will therefore be more susceptible to further strategies used in the future. It will also mean that later on in the interrogation, when the detective fully confronts Andrew and stacks up the evidence in front of him, he is more likely to believe resistance is a waste of energy and confess to his crime.
This is one of the things that we're now doing, and it started today. Do you remember when 9/11 happened in the United States? The Twin Towers got the terrorists, okay? Ever since that day...
This motherfucker does not remember 9/11, okay? Like, I don't know. What?
The United States, Department of Homeland Security, NASA, the American military, invested billions of dollars into satellite imaging. And the reason they did that was to try and prevent the attack of terrorist activities in the future. Because one of the questions they had was, how could we not see this coming? How could we not see a rogue plane coming? All these different things. As in anything, a lot of things that we do in the world are reactive to tragedies. So they enhanced billions of dollars into satellite imaging. And so what these satellites do now, they're orbiting 24/7 and they're snapping pictures all the time. We have realized that law enforcement, police, only certain agencies have access to it. We can access those satellite imageries by contacting the Department of Homeland Security in the United States. And we have to have what we call...
This is mean, tricking an old guy into thinking satellites are watching them all the time. First of all, they're fucking detectives. They literally lie all the time. Secondly, that poor old man is, I believe, a murderer. So... Or at least we suspect he is a murderer right now. So, I don't know.
A criteria offense. So it has to be serious.
Like, if you think that like lying to that guy is bad, then you know, let me tell you what he did at this stage, allegedly, which was murder another like old lady who was fucking a greeter at Walmart or some shit.
Treason, homicides, or attempt homicides. They won't look at it for anything else, okay?
Oh, thanks, Mom.
We also have to be very specific and give them either an address, and if we have an address, obviously we can give them latitude and longitudinal coordinates. You're a smart man, you understand what latitude and longitude is? Okay.
You know, MNR was using that years ago.
Absolutely, right? So that's why you would know about it.
To measure trees and forests and the makeup of the forest and the age of the trees and the health of the trees.
Even today with GPS
Oh,
and
fuck.
plotting.
Oh my god, that's loud. Hold up. This is what is known as scaring the audience technique by coughing really loudly.
GPS coordinates. GPS coordinates still go right to latitude and longitudinal coordinates because even in aviation, right, they still have to be able to fly over and find that spot on the Earth because latitude and longitude stays consistent the world over. That spot will always be there, right? Started today. The request has gone into the Department of Homeland Security, okay? We provided them an address and we provided them with the latitude and the longitudinal coordinates for her house. We know a struggle happened here on this driveway. Something happened, okay? When we put the request in, what happens now is they punch those coordinates into the database, access the satellite that was over the Earth at that point in time, and download the images. Okay? They download the images. Images are forwarded to us. We know when she left work. So now we have kind of a starting point to say, I don't need to see everything on the 12th. I just need to see from, say, 7 o'clock in the evening on. So give me from 7 o'clock in the evening all the way into the 13th the next day, right? I know in that time frame, I will capture this struggle on the driveway, okay? The request has gone in. It's going to take time for me to get those pictures back because it's a massive database and the request has gone into the Department of Homeland Security. They will download the images, they will send them to us. And when that happens, I will then have an opportunity to have an investigator sit and go through the images. These images that come in are phenomenal because they're military grade. Okay, it's based on NASA premises, and so
There's no shot this dude understands what's going on. Like, half the shit he made up, I forgot about. And I'm 30. This is what is known as like filling the person's brain with useless information until he forgets that he was trying to hide the crime technique.
So, like I've had success in other cases where I've been able to focus down in on the make and model of a car. The quality is that good, okay? That's one
Yeah,
thing
this technique's called elder abuse.
that's happening right now, okay? The other thing that's happening right now since we're here is I've been to her house. I know where it's located, okay? And one of the things I know is that when I go to her house,
These are good pictures, by the way.
they're not bad, eh?
Yeah, very good.
They're very good. The quality of pictures that are going to come in off that satellite will make those look like child's play. It's incredible what you're going to get. It's incredible what we can see.
Do you think I could ask you for another cigarette?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll get you another cigarette. There's a street view of where she lives. Okay? Where's her house on there?
I wish they hadn't taken my glasses.
I can assist you if you can't see.
Anyway. Her house would be round about where this green thing is.
What road does she live on? Bennisport?
Benchford.
Exactly. There's Bennisport right there.
This is River Road and Benchford Road. That's a very bad corner, by the way.
I know, I was there. Doesn't
Very
look like a
bad
good
corner.
corner.
What the fuck? He got him Timmy Hortons, don't you know? And he gave him some Marlboro Reds. What is happening? Oh, oops, I burped. Kind of weird. What's happening here is kind of weird.
Thank you. So here's the thing. I went to her house. I stood in her driveway. I looked around. What do you think I saw?
No idea.
Big cemetery over here.
Oh yeah.
Highland Park. Massive. Big gates.
Yeah. We
Like,
used to
beautiful.
go. We used to go walking there.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful spot. Right over here, a couple of doors down from her house, is a daycare being run out of a house.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Right over here is a big school. Just down the street.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just down from the school, before you get back to the intersection, is a variety store, a convenience store.
Mm-hmm.
What do all of those things have in today's day and age? Cameras.
Yeah.
They all have cameras. It's the world we live in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has cameras now for security reasons. Insurance, protect their own property, trying to prevent vandalism. Schools, new legislation was passed because of a couple of tragic incidents that happened, where they installed cameras at all the schools that focus out on the streets and the crosswalks, so that when kids are walking, in case there's an accident, in case there's an abduction, we want to be able to see vehicles. We want to be able to see people walking. Variety stores have cameras shooting out onto the street in the parking lots in case people grab things out of the store, shoplifting, and run away. People
What shootings are happening in Canada? I mean, I know it happens, but like nowhere near to the same degree as America, right?
arriving at the store for robberies, break and enter, thefts. This cemetery, the whole laneway is cambered to capture vehicles coming in and out. Anybody that wants to do damage. They have a beautiful big building in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's all cambered, right? Like, it's just the world we live in. This daycare, oh my word, cameras, because they're caring for children.
Yeah.
So, for insurance reasons, they have cameras there to, in case, abduction, some parent shows up that's not supposed to show up, a child wanders off, at least you got something to start with, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have officers at every one of these locations, as you and I speak, accessing and downloading all the data
Mm-hmm.
for the 12th of November into the 13th of November, because she lives right on that corner.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're accessing all those cameras. We're accessing everything. Okay. Now, when I look at those cameras, when I look at the satellite imagery that's coming in, okay, that's why I want to ask you this question. So on the evening of the 12th of November, so we're getting into the nighttime, after 7 o'clock at night, maybe even into the early morning hours of the 13th, but we're talking about that Wednesday night into the next day when she went missing. Is there any reason you can think of why, when I download these images from all this video footage and have a look at it, or when my satellite images come and arrive, okay, is there any reason you can think of why I'm going to see you or your vehicle in that area? And I just wanted to ask you that now, because maybe there's some logical reason that you were there or in that area that I'm not aware of, that we should talk about and clear up now, so that I don't have to come back and do it later. Any reason you can think of why I'm going to see you or your vehicle?
No.
No? Okay. And that's why I thought I'd ask now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because this is just a matter of probably hours away,
Yeah.
right?
If he kept his description to I don't know, half the length that he did, he might have gotten a better fucking answer out of this dude. But because it took so fucking long, like the top of the hour ad break that's coming right now, where I'll be running a 60-second ad break, there's nothing coming out of this dude. His brain has processed all the information that was available. Anyway, if you'd like to no longer see said ads, by the way, all you need to do is subscribe. You can do that for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. Here's the ad break now.
Well, according to you, you've got it made.
What's that?
According to you, you've got it made.
Well,
It's just a question of time.
yeah, it is a question of time, right? So, but that's why I wanted to ask you if there's any reason you can
No,
think
I've got
of.
nothing to say. That lawyer's going to be mad at me
No, but I'm just wondering,
for talking
Oh my
to you.
god.
is there any reason you can think of why we would even see you there?
I don't know what to answer any questions at all.
Okay. All right. But I just wanted you to understand that's one of the things we're working on. Okay, so I wanted to
Yeah,
give you some
wow.
info. I wanted to share it with you.
Yeah, no, that's good,
Okay.
because it looks as if you're definitely going to have this wrapped up pretty soon.
The other thing that we're working on is you asked about your car. Okay. You have a Subaru. What
Yeah.
year is your car?
2010,
2010.
I bought it brand new.
Yeah.
Paid cash for it.
Yeah. No, it's a nice car. It's in good
Huh?
shape.
The fuel consumption is terrible,
Is it?
just awful.
Okay.
Which I suppose makes sense. If a motor's got to drive four wheels, it's going to use more gas
Yeah.
than a motor that just has to drive two.
Too long, didn't read the troll.
Every
Ban.
time the detective brings up a new topic, like the cemetery near Lise Fredette's house, or his new car, you will notice that Andrew will constantly try to steer the conversation away from the evidence surrounding Lise Fredette's murder, and instead towards a more light-hearted and less confrontational topic, in this instance, the fuel consumption of his new car. Andrew is doing this in search of arrest, and also due to the fact that he is fearful of what else is to come. The detective eventually recognizes Andrew's strategy and does not allow him to take control of the interrogation or have arrest.
Okay. Are you aware, and I'm sure you are, because you're very, very well read. You're a smart guy. Planes that go down, planes that go missing, right? I mean, remember that Air India jet that went down?
Yeah.
And I don't think they've ever still recovered recovered the wreckage. Remember that one? Just this past summer, I think it was?
There was one went down over Lockerbie in the 1980s that they haven't got that figured out yet. That's the RCMP that's
Holy fuck, this dude is literally bringing back info from the 80s. I remember when the first plane was invented.
working on that.
Yeah. But whenever a plane
I thought old people do fucking stories and they do story time, but this young detective is like rambling on like an old man.
crashes and goes down, what is the one thing that they want to recover first?
A
and
black
foremost?
box!
Exactly. Why do they want the black box?
Because it records the activity of the plane when it went down.
Exactly. Were you aware that cars also have their version of a black box installed in the computer modules?
Is that even true?
Okay, they do. So what happens is,
It's
in
not true,
serious
right?
cases like this, when we seize a car forensically, okay, and we have to go through it forensically, so, you know, we're looking for blood and fibers and hair, but when we suspect or believe that a vehicle
Like maybe if they have like a OnStar or some shit, but no, right?
has been utilized, one of the things that we do is we do a forensic examination on the black box, the computer module that's installed in the car, that retrieves and holds data as to where that car's been. It's like a built-in GPS,
Oh yeah.
okay? It provides us with speed,
Yeah, that's not real.
braking,
No fucking shot
acceleration,
that's real, dude. No fucking shot. Maybe in like newer cars, but no shot is that real in like a 2010 Subaru. He's just like grossly expanding on available technology.
stops, starts, but it also provides us with coordinates.
Mhm.
Okay, and it's built right into the car. Dealers can access it. Us, through our investigative tools now, we can access the data as well. Okay, so that's one of the other things that's happening with your car right now.
Yeah.
Okay,
But that was not on the search warrant.
what's that?
That was not mentioned in the search warrant.
I know that. I know that.
So that might be considered to be fruit of the poison tree.
It's possible, but I
What?
still have to look at it because it's a murder, right? It's possible, absolutely.
Anyway,
But is there any reason you can think
no
of
matter.
when we download that
No,
data?
No, I got no answers for you at all.
Okay, but that's why I have to ask the questions,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Is there any reason you can think of why that
No,
data is going to
no,
show you?
I can't hear what old man is saying.
Okay.
Well, then I just want you to understand what we're working on
Yeah.
and what we're doing, okay? So you're aware of
Mhm.
what's going on. Because I think it's important for you to know.
Yeah.
I think it's important for you to understand what we're working on as investigators.
Uh-huh.
I think you have every right to know that. You're the one sitting here under arrest. Make
Mhm.
sense?
I still don't know why they don't just let me go home and stay at home where I would be comfortable. Because certainly not going to be going anywhere or doing anything.
Right. You recognize that?
Yeah, that's my car.
That's your car. Okay.
Mhm.
The detective now moves on to the more damning pieces of evidence, and the main reason why Andrew was later convicted. Andrew's lack of knowledge of forensic evidence is
Spoiler
quite
alert!
alarming, as he seems to not realise that the police can identify a plethora of things via DNA profiling.
And that's your carport?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What was that a picture of?
Looks like an exhaust tailpipe.
Yeah, and it's actually this one over here. I just want to show you. It's this one.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So this is a close-up
Uh-huh.
of this exhaust pipe.
Mhm.
So the way that vehicle's facing.
If all cars had GPS black boxes that demonstrated location data in real time, then cars would never be stolen again. It makes sense if, like, I'm a lot manager and only OnStars has them, but cars do not. Yeah. You can get limited information from a black box, like, not in real time, and you can disconnect it. Teslas have something like this called Sentry Mode. Some cars record store speeds and throttle position. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Facing right now, that would be the driver's side.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And you agree that's your car?
Mm-hmm.
That's your carport?
Yep.
Okay. So this is this blowing up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see that?
Yeah.
What is that?
I don't know.
It's blood.
This dude is
This
so old. Back in his day, DNA evidence didn't exist.
is back here on your tailgate. It's a close-up, okay, on the tailgate.
Yeah.
Okay, that's blood.
Mm-hmm.
This, it's kind of dark, but it's what we call the pillars.
Yeah.
So this is the driver door, passenger door. On the
Yeah.
passenger
Yeah.
She's
side,
like surprised to
Yeah.
find out.
there's blood there.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I've done is, that's blood, and that's blood
Uh-huh.
on your car.
Mm-hmm.
Whose blood do you think that is?
No idea. But I told the police right at the beginning, right on the day they took me away on Thursday, I told them if they wanted blood, I would give them blood.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
they could compare it to this blood.
Is there any, like, is it logical? Would that be your blood? Have you cut yourself?
Yeah, I cut myself here.
Okay, and how'd you do that?
I did it with a chisel.
A chisel?
Yeah.
Okay, what,
And I explained all this to Dan LeMay.
okay.
I even showed him what I was working on when it happened, and showed him how it happened and everything else.
No, I wasn't kidding. I wasn't joking when I said DNA literally didn't exist until like, I don't know exactly what year, but like, no, back before like the 90s and shit, you could just like murder someone and low key get away with it. Like DNA profiling didn't exist. Obviously DNA existed, but DNA happened in the last, 30 years. That's when DNA started becoming a real thing.
He actually helped me.
Did he? Okay. Now, after you cut your hand, did you touch your car?
I must have.
Okay. No, and that's why I'm asking, right? Because I mean that would bleed pretty good, and you're right-handed or left-handed?
Right-handed.
So it would make sense that you would open doors with your right hand, things like that. Right?
I can only assume that this blood got on the car, but I'm
That would
assuming
make that would make sense, right?
It's the only thing I can think of.
Is there any reason you could think of why that would be
I don't know.
her blood? Jesus'
I
blood.
have no idea.
It's her blood.
Oh, it's her blood.
It is.
Oh, yeah. Well, it looks to me like you've got everything wrapped up.
Low-key, at first, he was coming across way more delirious and like an innocent old man. But now, the more he pushes back. And it makes me feel like he's becoming more and more guilty by the second. Like, he's starting to fail my vibe checks a little bit. Because originally he was like, oh, I don't know what's going on. But now he's like, aha, you couldn't find anything, you shit.
You're a very logical man. You're a very smart man.
I'm not a very smart man at all.
You are.
Quite sure if you tested my intelligence, it would, at best, it would be average.
Well, what I mean by that is this. You are a very logical person. And so I don't want to sit here, and play any type of games with you. I want you to understand why you're here, because I think you deserve to be treated with respect and courtesy, just the same way you've treated me here today, which I appreciate. I'm telling you right now that that's her blood on your car, okay? But I'm also prepared to back it up because you're such a smart man. That's the report from the Center of Forensic Sciences that you may have a look at and read.
Okay, dude, so we just had the evidence and didn't want to fucking reveal it until the end? What the fuck? What a video, dog. What a fucking buried ass lead, dude. He was just like, why did you go on a 35-minute tangent about like the American surveillance state post 9/11 and like the gas mileage on fucking Subarus and shit?
Which is not my opinion. It is their opinion that they have done the scientific tests and they have verified the fact that it's her blood on your car.
Cop was literally stalling for content so he could hit the minimum hour for YouTube ad revenue.
And you can read through that, take your time. Or I can read it to you. Would you like me to read it to you?
I don't have my glasses.
Want me to get them for you?
No, I don't need to read that. I'll take your word for it.
That's her blood on your car.
Okay.
Okay. So I just want you to be aware of that. Okay. You haven't seen her since the Saturday before she went missing.
That's right.
So she hasn't been in your car because she hasn't been anywhere near your car. And yet her blood is on your car. How does that happen?
I don't know.
You do know. That's the thing.
No idea.
We're at a point right now where this isn't a what happened to her. This isn't a whodunit. Okay, we know she's gone. I know you're responsible. But there's still some, the big question is the why. That's the only answer.
The how and why
technique. Why
technique.
did this happen? It's not did you do it. We know you did, okay? This is only one set of scientific testing
Mhm.
that's happened. There's more scientific testing going on as we speak,
Mhm.
plus all the pictures, plus all the images.
Mhm.
You can see where this is going.
Mhm.
This is all coming to one great big massive head, okay? The evidence takes me where I need to be, and I have her blood all over your car.
Mhm.
I have a lady that's missing that hasn't been seen since the 12th. I have a sign of a struggle in her driveway where there's blood on her driveway and obvious signs of a struggle. There's blood at your house.
We've already arrived at like 25 times more evidence than what it took to convict Daniel Holtzclaw of like half of the fucking crimes that he allegedly committed at this point. Like,
House,
Blood in my house.
right?
Well, there'll be blood all over my house,
Right,
because I'm always bleeding.
right. But
But it'll be mine.
wait, what is this? I'm not hiding in the back of my barbershop to watch Twitch. Shut the fuck up. That's pretty funny.
okay,
It sure as hell is not Lizzie's blood in my house.
but it's on your car.
Well, I
Barber
don't know
Andy.
about that.
That's science. It's right there. It's on your car. Okay. And you know what? Even down to it's on your exhaust. Low. Okay. Here's the thing. We're at
Open
this
and shut
point
as fuck.
where you know exactly what happened to her. Now,
At this point, most of the evidence is revealed, and the detective decides to fully confront Andrew and step up the interrogation. Going forwards, the detective will attempt to keep Andrew's morale and confidence as low as possible to stop any potential denial or resistance. A clever way that the detective will subconsciously reinforce the fact that Andrew is believed to be the culprit is by shifting the focus of the interrogation from finding the murderer to body retrieval. This changing of wording does not offer Andrew the chance to dispute the detective's claims and build up his confidence.
the way I have to look at it is, and I do look at it like this. Do I think for one moment that you planned all this? Absolutely.
I'm not gonna lie, this doesn't hit like the JCS ones. It doesn't. Let's be real. It literally does not hit like the JCS ones. I don't know why, but I guess because JCS ones are like really interesting content. There's not a lot of commentary on this. There's a JCS re-upload. The death row phenomenon. There's no shot this is a JCS re-upload. For real? Bro, this is like... There's one comment and 10,000 views on this. If there was blood outside of the car to get to his house, did he have to drive, or was his home close by? We've already watched every JCS video with the exception of like one. We haven't watched the military one, but that's it.
Not. Do I think for one moment that you woke up one day and said that I'm going to harm her and take her life? No, I don't.
Half of the JCS videos are private or removed low. Wouldn't be surprised your reactions to his videos will end up being used as an archive of his channel in a year's time. I wonder why he like why are the JCS videos lost? Like, do we know? Do we know why? He reuses / updates videos? Wait, really? Okay, people who said, yeah, TT Criminology is not as good as Mad Orchard. Not criminal psychology, but interesting on Drew Peterson. What? FBI didn't like him releasing the cops' secret techniques. Yeah, right, dude. That's such a stupid take. It's funny. I think he doesn't like keeping them up. If something comes to light, that means he's stating something factually wrong. So if that happens after his upload, he will remove it. But I haven't looked too far into it. From what I understand, JCS doesn't even like use the Patreon anymore. I like how these true murder people are becoming household names to us. Oh yeah. No interrogations, but that chapter is an amazing true crime channel on YouTube. No, I like the interrogations because, like, I don't know why, but there's something really interesting about watching, like, a psychopath or a sociopath try to, like, get out of having a conversation with another psychopath who has a badge slapped on his chest and then, like, get caught in his own lies. Like, it's just so rewarding. They're so interesting to watch that we literally sit here and watch, like, the worst quality footage with absolutely the worst audio. You know what I mean? It's fucking great. I really like the Mad Orchard channel though. They have great. JCS now does ASMR queefing videos. Fuck, dude. We lost another one, boys. That's so. There's a good video with Alec Manassian's interrogation. Yeah, I kind of want to watch that. I don't know if I missed it already, but to catch a predator in a similar vein to these interrogations, at least when it comes to monsters being forced to squirm. Yeah, I totally get why people like... I totally understand why people watch, like, the pedophile stuff, too. This is the Alec Manassian one, but I'm worried that there's gonna be... What the fuck? I'm worried that there's gonna be fucking blood in this. Wait, what did I say? That phrasing? What happened? I said it's really rewarding to watch pedophiles squirm. What did I say wrong? I can see why. I mean, like, I can see why people would love watching the pedophile stuff. Like, videos of pedophiles getting caught. This is one of the reasons I got into psychology, an interesting story of a supposed psychopath. Just shut the fuck up! He's so mad at me, dude. He's like... I love when motherfuckers come into a Twitch chat to be like, shut up, streamer. What the fuck? Okay. I thought you said there's no violence in this, dude. What does he have in his hand?
Yeah, I'm heading over to 32 to help them out where they want them.
The last location I had is Young South.
What did he have in his hands? Just a wallet? Yeah, that's how you know this is Canada, boys. Okay? That's how you know this is Canada. There it is, boys. There it fucking is. Okay? Right off the bat, let me just tell you real quick. That's Canada.
The B-Cross.
243 needs a unit here at Parkville. Multiple victims being ambulance stated.
They would have fucking ripped him in America.
On
He would have
April
been
23rd,
shredded.
2018, an individual by the name of Alec Manassian drove a white Chevrolet Express van around Toronto, Canada, striking and killing 10 people and injuring 16. A police officer eventually intercepted the van and confronted the driver, Manassian, and arrested him. It was reported multiple times that Manassian tried to provoke the officer into using deadly force by repeatedly pulling a dark object from his pocket and pointing it at him, most likely in the hopes that the officer would discharge his firearm. However, it soon became clear to the officer that Manassian was not carrying a firearm, and he was put under arrest and interrogated.
The term, for the chatter who was wondering, is called suicide by cop. Of course, because it's in Canada, I guess it doesn't work like that, like it would in America, where it's damn near 100%. But in Canada, it's clearly not 100%.
A short time later. However, before we get into what led to this tragic attack from Alec Manassian, we need to understand the motivations of another disturbed man by the name of Elliot Rodger. And before we understand Elliot Rodger, we need to understand what an incel is. Wikipedia defines incel, or involuntary celibate, this way. Members of an online subculture who define themselves as unable to find a romantic or sexual partner despite desiring one. Essentially, an incel is a male who wants to have a girlfriend, wants to have sex, wants to have a romantic relationship, but by their own perception, those things are unattainable for them. As a result, they blame women for not being attracted to them, or alternatively for being attracted to other non-incel men. This blame can also be put on other men who incels feel are more attractive than them, therefore acquiring more attention from the opposite sex, often referred to as chads. This viewpoint can result in an incel being bitter and angry primarily towards women, which naturally can make them less likely to get a romantic relationship, and the prophecy becomes self-fulfilling.
Guys congregate, and there's ongoing conversations every single day with people all over the world. And a lot of incels are really obsessed with their looks.
Oh my god! That dude's fucking... Oh my god, that dude's name was Monka Giga. That's literally a Twitch viewer, dude. That's literally a Twitch viewer. Oh my fucking god, of course. Fucking course, dude.
A lot of incels are really obsessed with their looks. And I think it's kind of gives us a nice window into the rejection and the depression that some of the incels are really feeling.
I think all men deep down are really pissed off by women.
Wish you all were dead.
And they adopt this sort of fatalistic attitude that they are not genetically made in an attractive way for women, and therefore are doomed to never find intimacy.
The subculture of incels has grown from a small forum where dateless individuals could share their experiences and ideas.
I don't know what happened, but I do feel like this shit passed a little bit on the internet. You know what I mean? Like, it used to be, I feel like it used to be worse overall. like a lot of the circles that this shit used to pop off in have been like pushed away. No, I just don't hear about it as much anymore. Dude, there used to be incels in this community all the fucking time, dude. Like literally nonstop. We would have to ban people who just straight up would just say like the most psychotic shit. Incels, very similar to like Minecraft stands, have a very specific way of speaking. You know how you can like kind of catch on to the person like typing is like a Minecraft stand by the condescension and patronizing attitude in their tone when they're educating you? Incels are like that as well. They have like a definable, obviously I'm not saying they're similar to one another, but there's certainly a way that incels fucking talk. Where like it's weird where like they'll say, I mean, females is one indicator, but like not always. It's, you have to look for context, but one way that you can like, one defining thing is like the hyper focus on like the hyper focus on like physical perception. The femcells are on the rise now. There are definitely femcells for sure. Like they'll do like Chad phrenology. Like they definitely do some skull science. Why be constantly rejected by women you are attracted to when you can just beat the nameless king? It's better than sex, right, Hasan? Bottom of the hour. I already ran the ad. But yes, that's true.
To almost a hate group against women. Many times they freely discuss violence against women who refuse to engage with them sexually or romantically, or violence against men who they feel are more attractive to women. Incels have their own terminology, their own ideology, and even more prominent incels that they look up to.
Look at Elliot Rogers.
Enter Elliot Roger.
The supreme gentleman Elliot Rogers.
I'll be a god, exacting my retribution and all those who deserve it.
Elliot Roger was born in London and moved to the United States with his parents when he was 5 years old, eventually being raised in Los Angeles. Throughout his life, he experienced consistent bullying, mockery, and beatings. He also showed signs of developmental and behavioral disorders despite never being formally diagnosed. As he got older, his bitterness and hate for those around him began to grow. His jealousy and anger toward women who he felt ignored him grew as well, leading to multiple violent incidents when he was an adolescent. In 2011, Roger threw coffee on a couple he was jealous of, and also threw coffee on 2 girls for not smiling at him. In July 2013, after being mocked at a party, Roger attempted to push a small group of girls off a 10-foot ledge. Roger's grievances were also well documented. In addition to having a YouTube channel where
this motherfucker was the original car poster, dude. Like, angry freaks posting from their cars. Like, literally the first. He had a nice-ass car, too. Like, I mean, this dude was just, oh, God, he was the fucking worst.
where he would post videos expressing his displeasure at what was going on in his life. He would also end up writing a 100,000-word manifesto entitled, My Twisted World.
I was just about to say, the moment that you write a manifesto, it's a wrap, dude. Again, self-report, vibe check failure. A much lighter offense is having a 6-hour fucking debate in Discord about any particular grievance. But this is like the #1 red flag of all red flags. Okay? Karl Marx, big red flag guy. But like, quite literally. Okay? It's true. I'm consistent, dude. The biggest of red flags.
The story of Elliot Roger.
Humanity, ... This motherfucker thinks he's an anime villain, dude. Look at this. Humanity. All of my suffering on this world has been at the hands of humanity, particularly women. Like, dude, Jesus Christ, dude. Wait, what did he say? Least psychopathic essay, Andy? Yeah, literally. It's just like, dude, Death Note broke people's brains. Like, I swear to God. Everybody thinks they're fucking Light Yagami. Everyone. Motherfuckers read Death Note and go, oh, I'm Light Yagami. So stupid.
The manifesto was filled with hateful, racist, and misogynistic language and ideas.
The irony, of course, is that the irony is that Light Yagami had a fucking goth girlfriend. Like, literally had a big titty goth girlfriend, dude. Which kind of, like, adds insult to his offenses. Because, like, he wasn't even a fucking incel. I had the biggest crush. Whatever the fuck. Misa. Yeah. Such bullshit, dude. Fuck. Shit, it made me an incel reading that. Where I was like, fuck, I wish she was my girlfriend, dude. He didn't even want her.
He ended up sending this manifesto to 34 people, his family, therapists, and classmates included. By this time, he had also purchased multiple firearms. On May 23, 2014, Roger killed 3 men, 2 of them being his roommate.
Hold on. Is there any...
by stabbing them numerous times in his apartment. He then went to a coffee shop, and then around 8:30 p.m. created his final video to his YouTube channel entitled Elliot Rogers Retribution, and uploaded it less than an hour later.
Hi, Elliot Roger here. Well, this is my last video. It all has to come to this. Tomorrow is the day of retribution. The day in which I will have my revenge against humanity. Against all of you.
God, it's like actual fucking shitty, like straight the Blu-ray villain type beat. Like he literally thought he was so sick. And the worst part about it is, aside from the senseless cruelty, the brutality, the violence, is that all these other fucking annoying ass nerds on the internet looked at this shit. All of those annoying fucking nerds who scoff at like video game writing because it's not good enough for them and their intellectual tastes, and thought this guy was so sick.
For the last 8 years of my life, ever since I've hit puberty, I've been forced to endure an existence of loneliness, rejection, and unfulfilled desires, all because girls have never been attracted to me. Girls gave their affection and sex and love to other men, but never to me.
Yeah, I wonder why, motherfucker. You come from a rich family, you're like a decently attractive dude. I wonder why girls didn't want to fuck you. Like, I wonder why. Entitled motherfucker, dude. Little piss shit.
I'm 22 years old, and I'm still a virgin. I've never even kissed a girl. I've been through college for 2.5 years. More than that, actually. And I'm still a virgin. And it's been very torturous. College is the time when everyone experiences those things such as sex and fun and pleasure. But in those years, I've had to rot in loneliness.
Like, think about it, dude. There's so much awful shit happening on the planet every fucking day. Poverty. There's epidemics occurring all around the world, okay? global capitalism has destroyed the fucking third world in endless amounts of exploitation. Like there's kids being born with fucking AIDS. And this motherfucker sitting in his like nice 3 series in the middle of Santa Barbara as the sun goes down, reveling in self-pity because he couldn't get coochie. Why couldn't he get coochie? He looked good. Okay, he was a decently looking dude. Has a nice car. He's like rich. Why couldn't he get coochie? Well, because this attitude, okay? Motherfucker had main character syndrome and was constantly and obsessively freaking out over the fact that he just could not get laid. So stupid, dude.
It's not fair.
Roger then drove to the Alpha
Sorry, it was
Phi
loud.
sorority house at Embarcadero, where after failing to enter the sorority house itself, began shooting people nearby. He then went on a rampage, driving around town, shooting multiple people and striking others with his vehicle.
What the fuck?
At around 9:35 p.m. that evening, police found Roger's car with him inside, dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. In total, 6 people were killed by Roger and 14 others were injured from gunshot wounds or blunt trauma from his vehicle. From this incident sparked countless discussions on gun control, internet culture, and misogyny. To any sane...
You should have hired a sex worker? No, dude. No, that's crazy. Why are you subjecting sex workers to his psychopathic nonsense? You should have... That was not going to fix his problems, dude. No, he was supposed to fucking work on self-improvement, okay? A fallen king? What? Here's the thing, guys. Confidence comes from within. That's why I always say, I know it sounds stupid, but like, I always tell you short-term goals and long-term goals, setting short-term, like easily achievable goals for yourself that ultimately end up with like, arriving at long-term goals that you have for yourself and building confidence from within, knowing that you can achieve goals that you've set for yourself. Like, these are some very simple ways that you can kickstart your, healing process, I guess. It's not going to happen. Like, having sex with a sex worker is not going to magically change his, like, crippling insecurities.
Rationally thinking person who hears about this case, Elliot Rodger is a disturbed, depraved, hateful individual who took the bad experiences from his life and used them as justification to commit multiple murders. To some incels, however, Elliot Rodger became something else. A hero.
Private Recruit Manasian, Infantry 0010, wishing to speak to Sergeant 4chan. The incel rebellion has already become. We will overthrow all the Chads and Stacys. Yo, this is literally the fucking wackest way to be like a mass murderer. I'm just gonna put it out there, okay? Like, it's so fucking cringe too. Like, on top of like how horrifying mass murder is, but it's like literally fucking nuclear levels of cringe too. Jesus Christ.
While the rest of the world remained rightfully disgusted at the actions of Rodger, the internet community of incels began to deify him, even referring to him as Saint Elliot. Posts and threads were created in support of Rodger's actions, even blaming women for the crimes he'd committed. Throughout the incel community, many expressed shameless approval for Rodger's actions. One of these individuals, was Alec Manassian.
Alec?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Good, good. You drink water?
Sure.
Thanks so much. How you feeling?
I'm good.
You feeling okay? My name's Rob Thomas.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, how are you? How are you? You doing okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably had better days than this, I guess, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I am a little shaken, to be honest.
A little shaken?
It's not like it's not my usual day, obviously.
Yeah, no, I can appreciate that. Yeah. Alec. Mind if I call you Alec?
Yeah, sure.
What do your friends normally call you?
Alec.
Alec. Yeah. Alec, my name's Rob Thomas. I want you to call me Rob from here on in, okay?
Okay.
Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay. Alec, I want you to understand something. I'm a senior detective with the Toronto Police. You understand what that means?
Yes.
You know I'm a police officer.
Yes.
Okay. I don't wear a uniform. I wear a suit and tie because of the type of work that I do. But although I'm in a suit and tie, I'm an actual police officer, okay? And I'm one of the senior investigators on this case, okay? I got called in for this specific case because of what's happened and the involvement and everything else that's been going on, okay? Before we get started, I want you to know that we're being videotaped and audio taped, okay?
Okay.
Do you know what I mean by that?
Yes. Everything I see and do is being captured.
Exactly, yeah, on audio and video, okay? Now, here's what I want to do, Alec. I want to talk to you, okay? We're going to spend a good deal of time together, okay?
Okay.
It's important that I talk to you, all right?
This cop is applying what is known as the Don Draper technique. Why does he fucking sound like he's about to sell him like the next advertising campaign for Toyota? Like, look at how dapper I am. Do you like that? Yeah, I'm not like a regular cop.
I've done a little bit of reading, and I know a little bit about involuntary
Celibacy.
Celibacy, right?
Oh my god, these motherfuckers don't even know how to say celibacy, bro. Imagine being a fucking incel and not knowing how to say celibacy. Dude, oh my god. Oh, he doesn't even fucking know his own goddamn community's terminology. Are you fucking kidding me?
Being celibate, involuntarily celibate. What does that mean?
That means celibacy means someone who never has a sexual intercourse.
Dude, smartest guy on 4chan, literally. Like, fuck me, dude. Holy shit. I can't. This is like when I found out that the proper way to say tinnitus is tinnitus.
Voluntary celibacy means this wasn't your choice. You essentially have been thrown into true forced loneliness, and you're unable to lose your virginity. Right. This is especially painful for young males.
Note the way that Alec describes the term involuntary celibacy. A great deal of the blame, if not all of it,
to the person who said he sounds Persian, he's Armenian.
It is shifted onto society or the people around the involuntary celibate. He uses terms like thrown into, unable to, and forced loneliness.
Oh, typical Turk watching fucking Armenian mass murderer to get back. I see how it is. Motherfucker said he's Turkish. Okay, bro.
This implies that the onus is not on the individual in this case, the incel, but rather the people around him, or his current situation, whatever that may be.
Right. That makes sense. When did you first, sorry, you mentioned this and I forgot. When did you first go on to 4chan?
2014.
2014, and specifically when in 2014?
Like, this dude is obviously like a sick freak, right? But low key, if he never went on 4chan, like, those people those people definitely wouldn't have been murdered, and maybe no one would have gotten fucking murdered. I just think about that.
May 23, 2014.
And how were you able to remember that?
Because I remember that was a very significant day.
Okay. What was that?
That was when Elliot Rodger decided to essentially commit an uprising, a beta uprising, if you will,
right,
against the
Okay. I have to say something here. I'm going to issue another trigger warning. This is maximum cringe. And it also, like, if you were this person at some point, if you were on like a fucking 4chan message board or some shit, and you used to use terminology like this might be too hard to watch. Like, literally too hard to watch, because it just like shows you potentially like what your old self looked like and resembled. Also, low-key, this is why I always fucking specify that, like, no matter how crazy Minecraft stands get, like, it's never like this, okay? Because they might get cringe, they might get crazy, they might do, like, mass-targeted threads where they call out every, like, microaggression or whatever, but, like, it still stems from a place of empathy. Misguided anger, but still... their ideology still stems from a place of empathy. These motherfuckers, on the other hand, are full of hatred.
Chads and the Stacys. It was a beta uprising.
A beta uprising? Okay.
Although he didn't call it a beta uprising at the time. Someone else who was inspired by him by the name of Chris Harper called it a beta uprising sometime in, actually I believe it was October 1, 2015.
It was Elliot Rodger who was the father.
Basically, the founding forefather of the entire movement.
Right, right. So explain to me this movement. What's this movement about?
Like, look at how matter of fact he is in describing a beta uprising, bro. That's crazy.
It's basically a movement of angry incel.
Bro, just believe in God, dude. Like, what the fuck are you doing? This is what I mean. Like, just literally, unironically, just fucking believe in God. What the fuck? Please. Please, dude.
Such as myself, who are unable to get laid. Therefore, we want to overthrow the Chads, which would force the Stacys to be forced to reproduce with the incels.
Right.
Take a moment and really consider the lunacy of what is being said here. This uprising he's talking about, this movement, is to eliminate all of the Chads who he previously established are men who incels feel have more sexual attractiveness to women, in order to force Stacys, or women who are sexually attractive, to reproduce with the incels. This narrative would be almost completely laughable if it wasn't for the glaring fact that a number of the incel community, estimated to be at or over 100,000 at the time of making this video, share similar viewpoints to Alec Manassian and Elliot Rodger.
Okay, when you say incels,
involuntary celibate.
Celibate. So that's just a short form for fellas who
can't get laid,
can't have sex. Right? Okay. And
if he says Kekistan, I'm shutting it off.
What happened in the Elliot Rodgers uprising? What did he do?
I know he used a gun as well as a vehicle to convert the life status of certain individuals to death status.
Right.
Only to carry the message that incels can't be oppressed.
And then what about Chris Harper Mercer? What did he do?
Christopher Harper Mercer was a 26-year-old student at Umpqua Community College in Oregon who identified with the violent side of the incel movement. On October 1st, 2015, he fatally shot an assistant professor and 8 students, injuring another 8. After a shootout, Harper shot himself in the head. To this day, it is considered one of the deadliest mass shootings in Oregon history.
He used a gun for all of his murders.
And were these fellas active on 4chan?
Yes.
They were. Have you ever communicated with these fellas?
I actually have, as a matter of fact.
Who did you communicate with?
Autistic, by the way, just throwing that out there. Oh, never mind. He shouldn't go to jail. Sorry. Oh, fuck, dude. Oh, man. I didn't realize that, like, he had autism. Fuck. Sorry, boys, wrap it up. Let's not watch the rest of this, honestly. Everybody knows, like, it's a shield. Yeah, when you throw up the autism shield, all of a sudden, you know, the fucking 10 people get unmurdered.
Both of them, actually.
Really?
We discussed our frustrations at society and being unable to get laid, and we were plotting a certain timed strikes on society in order to confuse and shake the foundations, just to put all the normies in a state of panic.
Okay, and who would be a normie?
Normie means normal people. That would be anyone who is considered to be normal by the unfair standards of society.
But not the Chads or Stacys. Chads
and Stacys are actually above normies, or at least.
Imagine not believing the very real systemic forms of violence, all the way from like the structural violence of poverty to systemic racism, intergenerational trauma that comes from all these things, and then fucking turning around and being like, the real systemic problem is when women don't want to fuck me because I have the worst personality of all time. Incredible shit. I mean, honestly. God, I hate how these terms have been memed into unironically used terms today. I mean, yeah, I say fucking normies and shit, but I wouldn't be using it with a fucking adult, dude. Incel culture is Twitch culture? Yes. Mohammed Kanakin, full face of Kurdistan, incel culture is Twitch culture. Yes, this is true. This is why spending all day on forums and Discord servers is bad. Your reality becomes distorted. 100%. Yeah. Another culture that is on Twitch, though, is the top of the hour culture. Where at the top of the hour, there's a 60-second ad break. And obviously, it's the best kind of culture, but the worst kind of culture at the same time. Best kind of culture, however, because you can avoid said ad breaks. Now, you might be wondering how you can avoid said ad breaks. Instead of spamming 5 out of 10 transition or throwing up Pogo tomato times. Instead of doing that, you could subscribe for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. You know, or an ad block or a VPN. These are ways you can avoid the ad breaks, which are coming right now. Here's the ad break. Inshallah, you must protect your life status.
At least they think they're above.
Of course, yeah. Okay, all right. So is it fair to say you've got Chads and Stacys up here, normies down here, and then you've got celebs who believe that they are being repressed? Incels.
Celebs.
Sorry.
Yes.
Incels who believe they're being suppressed or repressed. Yes. And so as a result, to even the playing field.
Yes.
They convert the Stacys and Chads from living to dead, and to make
so that we come out on top.
But yeah, more than so. Is there?
Look how fucking serious he is when describing this shit, dude. What a fucking psycho.
Get ready for this next bit, because if you didn't think what this guy was saying was insane before, you haven't heard anything yet.
All of the alpha males.
All the alpha males. So the Chads.
Yes.
So those are the people that you want to kill?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And who else?
Any of the Stacys who do not wish to give their love and affection to the incels.
So they're a target as well?
Yes.
To be killed?
Yes.
Okay, and what about the normies? Normies.
Yes, we don't necessarily wish to kill the normies, but we do wish to subjugate them in order to make them understand that that our type is the more.
For the record, this is why I was saying the Sigma male shit, although rooted in the same kind of weirdo environment, is still preferable to the incel stuff, because at least it like promotes better behavior. You know what I mean? Like, Yeah, I'm a Sigma male. I'm actually, you know, confident in my own way. Like, it's still kind of weird because it's riddled with like weirdo POA, weirdo like PUA mentality. But having said that, it's still like the bar is really low because incels are like really bad. It's a very dangerous, very violent, very dark ideology that sucks you in. But the Sigma male shit's like still at least a little bit better.
Superior one.
Right, right. So when you say subjugate, what do you mean by that?
Meaning either imprison them or put them in a lower position in society.
Okay.
So that they acknowledge the incels or the Pepe the Frog types as the more superior ones.
So you're saying things that I'm not familiar with.
Sorry.
What's a Pepe the
But
Frog?
he's a mascot on 4chan.
He's a mascot?
Yes.
Oh, mascot on 4chan.
Yes.
No!
I was using a metaphor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's actually worshipped quite frequently.
Oh, okay. All right. So going back to the conversation with Chris and Elliot, who did you have conversation with first? Let me ask you that.
Elliot.
So how did you learn of Elliot?
Because we private messaged each other on Reddit.
Yep.
After I saw one of his posts.
That's it, dude. Shut it down. Shut it all down, okay? Fucking Reddit. Of course originally he saw this shit on Reddit. Shut it all down, dude. Literally shut it down, dude. Nothing good. Nothing good has happened on any of these websites ever, okay? Fuck, dude.
And we just talked about each other, got to know each other.
This is literally a walking stereotype.
We found each other very interesting. We both had the same frustrations at society, despite being separated by distance so far apart.
Right. Did you ever visit him?
No, but I wish I could have.
Yeah. Did he ever come and visit you?
No, but I wish he did.
Yeah. When specifically did you first contact or have contact with Elliot?
January of 2014.
2014. And when did you stop having communication with him?
As soon as he was deceased.
Okay. So his act, I know took place in 2014, but I wasn't aware of the exact day. What day was it?
May 23, 2014.
May 23rd. Yeah, you said that. So when did you last speak to him?
May 20.
May 20th. And so what did he tell you?
He told me that he has to go. He is on a very important mission, and he might not make it back alive.
And so what did you say to him?
I kind of had an idea in my head of what he was planning, but I didn't want to think it was true at the time. So I replied and said, I wish you good luck with that.
Right on. Okay. And when did you learn that what he had done?
I saw it on the news later that night.
Later on the 23rd?
Yes.
Okay. And what did you think?
I thought that I came to the understanding that this is the mission that he had to carry out.
Okay. All right. And anything else?
I felt kind of proud of him for his acts of bravery.
Okay. All right. And what about how you started to change your thinking? Was any of that going on?
I was starting to feel radicalized at that time.
You were? Okay. And when you say radicalized, what do you mean by that?
Meaning I felt it was time to take action and not just sit on the sidelines and to just fester in my own sadness.
Right on. Okay. All right. So what takes place next? As part of this growing radicalization?
To be honest, the planning didn't occur until about a month ago. Most of it was actually just thinking and daydreaming.
Okay, all right. So the thinking and daydreaming, when did that start?
That started about a month after the rebellion in May of 2014.
Okay, so
in June I started thinking about this stuff.
And then that continued right up till about a month ago?
Yes, which is when I booked the van with the rider in order to use as a tool for rebellion.
Okay, all right. So take me through that process. What was going through your mind, and what were you thinking when you were doing all of this? What was going?
Motherfuckers will understand how people can, like, white dudes can radicalize on the internet because, like, women won't fuck them or because they said, like, mean things to them. But they won't understand how, like, further radicalization happens in the Middle East as a consequence of, like, everyone's fucking houses being reduced to rubble, millions being displaced, families being murdered, shit like that. I mean, this is like white ISIS.
I was thinking that it was a time that I stood up to the Chads and Stacys.
Okay. And then, so what happened? Tell me what takes place.
So I booked the van.
Yep.
And then I just simply wait until today.
Yep.
And then I go rent the van, and then I drive it, take it downtown to Toronto.
Okay.
And I just start using it as a weapon.
Okay. All right. And so when you say that, what do you mean by that?
Meaning the vehicle collided with several pedestrians, some of who are no longer alive as a result.
Right. Okay. Okay. And so.
An often underlooked aspect to these police interrogations is the mental and emotional fortitude that the interrogating officer must have in order to achieve results. Over the past 12 minutes, Alex Manassian has told the officer a number of disturbing things that to any sane person would trigger feelings of disgust and even hatred toward him. His radical ideas are also clearly so far steeped in delusion that a rational person would immediately dismiss them. The interrogating officer, however, in order to keep the interrogation...
I think there's something wrong with us as a collective. That, like, most average people don't understand this person when they're talking and describing these terms, but I know every single thing he's mentioned. Kind of fucked up. Like, I know everything. I know literally every single thing he's mentioned. That's so sad.
And conversation flowing smoothly must treat Manassian and his ideas with a sense of normalcy and understanding in order to keep him talking. A feat that not too many people would be able to do in this situation when faced with someone so deranged.
Yeah, that's a lot of information. Take me back to a month ago. You said this is when this whole planning started?
Yes.
Okay. So about a month ago, where were you at that point?
I was at Seneca College, and I decided to phone Ryder and book either a truck or a van with them. And they had a 10-foot van available, so I figured that this is perfect. I can it's big enough to have an effect, but not too big that I can't maneuver with it. So the van was the perfect medium size to use as my weapon.
Okay, so when do you leave Ryder?
I wasn't looking at the time when I left, but I know I received the van before 1 p.m., although it was, the booking was actually scheduled for 1.
Okay, all right. And how long does it take you to get from Ryder to Yonge Street?
To Yonge? To the beginning of Yonge?
To the beginning of the attack.
Oh, to near Yonge and Finch.
Yeah.
I would estimate about 20 to 30 minutes.
20 to 30 minutes. Now, what are you thinking while you're in the van?
I'm thinking that this is it. This is the day of retribution.
Okay. And anything else in your mind?
Just that. That's the only thing that's in my mind. It's just burning in my mind.
Burning in your mind.
Yeah.
Okay. And so let me ask you this, because this is really interesting. Why do you choose Yonge and Finch?
I didn't choose Yonge and Finch in particular. I was driving down Yonge because I knew it would be a busy area, and then as soon as I saw there were pedestrians, I just decided to go for it.
Okay. And so, where specifically were you, in terms of your specific location? Where were you when you just decided to go for it?
I was at some traffic lights.
Okay, where?
Well, actually, I don't remember. The only reason, in fact, if I hadn't, I remember some other, I had heard some other officers mention Yonge and Finch before. That's the only reason I really remember it. Okay. But otherwise, I actually wouldn't have remembered that it's Yonge and Finch. I just knew that I started seeing a lot of people walking.
Okay. Am I correct when I say that you knew at least you were on Yonge Street?
Yes.
And you knew that you were...
Because I specifically chose it beforehand, because that's why, because I even looked for that ramp from Highway 7 to Yonge.
Right, okay. So, nevertheless, you're at a stoplight, you said?
Yes.
And now, are you faced with a red light? You're stopped?
Yes, but as soon as it turned green, I started going.
Okay, and just walk me through this, okay, step by step. So it turns green, and what are you thinking?
I'm thinking that this is it. I see all these people. It's time to go for it.
Time to go for it. And what do?
I floor the pedal.
Yep.
I speed the van towards them, and I allow the van to collide with them.
Okay. And
the reason why you think this is the most terrifying guy we watched is because you know people like this. You talk to people like this on the internet every day. So it's even scarier to see. Like, in many ways, like, we've all been in circles that have a bunch of people like this. Not me? Motherfucker, you go on Reddit. The person that you fucking literally responded to on that subreddit thread has a high likelihood of being this person. Like, being exactly like this person. Actually, fuck that. As a matter of fact, half the time when you're talking to people, like, on Reddit, they are like this.
Then what happens?
Some people get knocked out of the way. Some people roll over the top of the van.
Okay. And then what happens?
I continue doing that until, in fact, actually, to be honest, the only reason I stopped my attack was because someone's drink got splashed on my windshield, and I was worried that I would crash the van anyway, so I decided, okay, now I wanted to do more, but I've kind of been foiled by a lack of visibility. So then that's when I turned right, and I saw the cops approaching, so I decided to pull over and get out of my van.
Okay. How long do you travel from the moment that you decide?
You're sensationalizing Reddit. Most aren't like this. Yeah, I mean, obviously, this is the edge case of, like, this is the final point of radicalization. Like, it doesn't get worse than that, dude. Like, the final point of radicalization, you start off on Reddit, you go into, like, these edgy fucking dark circles on Reddit that suck you in, okay? And then it pushes you further to, like, 4chan because you're looking for even more, like, it pushes you further into, like, 4chan poll. And then there's, like, this never-ending feedback loop. I mean, there's a lot of Reddit still. There were a fuckload of Reddit communities that churned out dudes like this on the regular. All of those, like, PUA insult forums, man. Shadows refused to listen, but you literally banned insane incels during the John Copenhaver video. Yeah, there were people. Yeah, there were some incels in here during that where it was like, why do women choose to fuck guys like this instead of me?
Mount the sidewalk, is that right?
Yes.
to the time that you stop, how long in terms of a distance would that have been?
About two or three traffic lights.
2 or 3 traffic lights. Okay. So you turn right at what street?
I don't remember which street. I wasn't paying attention.
Why do you turn right?
Because there wasn't any convenient place to stop at Yonge, and like I said, that there was a lack of visibility on my windshield. I could hear the cops coming anyway, so when I turned right, there was a convenient place to pull over on the sidewalk.
Okay. Okay, and so you're now, so you physically stop your vehicle.
Yes.
You physically stop. So you end the assault.
Yes.
Okay. And you end it because you can't see.
Yes.
And you knew the cops were coming.
Yes.
Okay. And so then what happens at that point?
I see a patrol car pull over and I hear the cops screaming at me to get out. So I get out and I point my wallet at the cop with the intent for it to be confused with a gun so that I could be fatally shot.
Okay. And was that something you were thinking about?
Yes.
I know. What I'm saying
is even beforehand, I premeditated as an attempted suicide by cop.
You wanted to be killed by the police.
Yes.
Okay. Can I ask why you decided to equip yourself with a wallet, not something else?
I was worried. I was thinking about purchasing a toy gun, right. But I was kind of paranoid that for whatever reason, the rental company would ask to see my pockets or any bag if I chose to bring that. So I decided to go as stealthy as possible so no one suspects anything.
Okay, all right. Nevertheless, you get out of the van, the officer correct me if I'm wrong, because I want to make sure I get this right. You get out of the van because the officer orders you out?
Yes.
Okay. And you want to die by suicide by police. So you point your wallet at him?
Yes.
Okay. And do you say anything to the officer?
I actually.
This is how you know a lot of this like incel shit's still very America centric, not North America, but like USA centric, because that's like America behavior. But I guess suicide by cop exists in Canada too. But like, you know, this motherfucker thought like, oh, they'll immediately kill me if I get out of my car with a wallet in my hand to make it seem like I have a gun. And the reality is, yeah, in America, they very likely would have killed him.
I told him that I had a gun in my pocket, which was untrue.
Right.
Then twice I stuck my left hand in my pocket and attempted to do this just to provoke a reaction.
Wow, so smart, incel. Point a wallet, 5 heads, so superior to other societal members.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like so proud of his actions too. There is this vibe that you get when you encounter an incel on the internet who is like riddled with Dunning-Kruger, where they feel so confident in their rhetoric whenever they're talking about an area of like their own expertise, even if it's like incredibly weirdo cringe shit, like the knowledge over Kekistan, you know what I mean? Where they're just like, of course I knew everything about, the incel is this, and the Stacy and the Chad, and the normies. And it's like, you're not smart, dude. You just like, you're literally tailoring yourself off of like savant characters that you've seen in movies. Okay. You're behaving in this way, thinking that you're like, like autistic Sherlock Holmes, like, and you might have autism. Okay. So that might be one reason where you, I guess, like thought that this character, resembles you or something, or Hannibal Lecter or some shit. But it's fucking ridiculous. Like, you're just a dumb motherfucker, dude. Autism as a diss? That's not a fucking diss. This dude had autism. And also, I'm saying that like savant and very specific types of characters that are like neurodivergent in the way that they're written, and psychopathy and sociopathy in the way that you see in like modern movies and shit, is something that a lot of people look up to and like tailor their own character around. But in real life, you just sound like the type of dude who says, you know, I wanted to take down the Kekistani Chads and Stacys. Like, that's what you come across as. But there's still that like weird condescension in the tone of voice.
Unfortunately, he didn't react. Right. So then I ended up being ordered to the ground. So I knew at that point he's not going to shoot me. So I've lost. So I had no choice but to just get on the ground.
I'm going to ask you this because it's important. 10 people died here today. 15 people were seriously injured. I think it's important to ask how you feel about that.
I feel like I accomplished my mission.
You feel like you accomplished your mission?
Yes.
Okay. If the families of those people who were murdered and who were injured were in this room right now, what would you say to them?
I honestly don't know what I would say.
Would you apologize?
I honestly don't know.
While it's true that not all who identify with the incel community have the violent fantasies of men like Alec Manassian and Elliot Rodger, it is still alarming how many of these radical ideas are perpetuated, not just by attacks, but by support for these attacks and the men who carried them out. They can be compared to a terrorist cell, whose ideas and delusions are insatiable, and who feel justified in their violent actions against those who they feel deserve punishment. Perhaps even more dangerous than their outward ideals, though, is their inner dialogue, one which absolves them of any role in the situation they find themselves in, instead heavily shifting the blame to society rather than coming to terms with their own shortcomings. Alec Manassian pleaded guilty to 10 counts of first-degree murder and 16 counts of attempted murder. His trial lasted for 6 weeks and was done virtually due to the COVID-19 pandemic. A judge ruled him guilty, and he is expected to serve, at the very least, a life sentence.
Absolutely. Madame Justice Anne Malloy rejected the defense argument that Alec Manassian was not criminally responsible, finding that not only did he know legally what he was doing was wrong, but also that he morally knew what he was doing was wrong, finding him guilty of 10 counts of first-degree murder and guilty of 16 counts of attempted murder. Now, Malloy spoke to exactly what happened that day. She refused to name Manassian in her judgment, only referring to him as John Doe, saying that she was acutely aware media coverage is exactly what he sought from the start. Malloy said that while she is...
I mean, he misses a bunch as well. Like, he was going for way more. Look at this.
Acutely aware media coverage is exactly what he sought from the start.
Thank fucking God,
Malloy
dude.
said that while she accepted that autism spectrum disorder is a mental illness within the section of the criminal code that deals with the not criminally responsible defense.
These were his victims, by the way. So fucked up, dude.
She said Manassian chose to run down innocent people that day. She said he planned the attack, showed no remorse nor empathy for his actions, and knew that his plan constituted first-degree murder, which is why his plan was to die by cop that day. She said Manassian sought fame and notoriety and had been fantasizing about a crime like this for over a decade, and admitted after the mass murder, quote, "I feel like I accomplished my mission."